Well, I guess this one's going to a game 7. You should probably like the video and subscribe if you're here. That'd be cool. Have a good one. What are you saying? Welcome back to ISOJ. Hope you're having a good day. Last night, just one game, but what a game it was. The Denver Nuggets hold off the Oklahoma City Thunder and now take this series to a game 7. This Denver Nuggets team is a team that has been to 7 game 7s. Maybe it's lucky. Maybe this is the one for them. This game can be chalked up to 2 things. A, Jamal Murray's personal flu game or whatever illness he had. B, this is the Julian Strawther game. I also realized I did A and B. The Julian Strawther game. My man just came off the bench. He went on a solo 8-0 run. Kind of nuts. And that's what this Denver team really needed. Throughout this series specifically, especially with Michael Porter Jr.'s shoulder injury, Coach Edelman has kind of had to pick and choose between his 2 vices. And his 2 vices are Russell Westbrook and Michael Porter Jr. with a bum shoulder. And both of them have been kind of bad. There have been stretches, there have been points where they've been good players and played very well for them. But as of late, not great. Not a great run for those 2. But I think the core of this game is that OKC just allowed Nikola Jokic to be Nikola Jokic again. This is the best player in the world. Like, I know Shai might get MVP, but this man is the best player in basketball right now. A 29 point, 14 rebound, 8 assist night. This is better than last game in a way that, yes, Jokic was crazy good scoring the ball last game, 100%. But OKC limited his ability to get other teammates involved, get the other Denver Nuggets involved in the play. And you saw that where the numbers just weren't looking as great for the rest of the Denver lineup. This one, as a whole, this team stepped up. They saw this is our elimination game. We're at home. Let's at least take it to OKC. If we lose in Oklahoma City, then I'm not that fussed. By a huge third quarter for Denver. Pushed on by Julian Strawther, 21-32 in the third. Julian Strawther came in, went on an 8-0 run on his own, 15 points on the game. And as much as I gave him shit last video, Christian Braun bounced back in this one, 23 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 8 of 14 from the field, 3 of 6 from deep. This was great for the other non-Jokic players. Okay, yes, Aaron Gordon didn't have the best game he could have had, but Aaron Gordon has kept them alive a lot in this series that, you know what, you're allowed to have a bad game. And even like MPJ didn't do too bad this game. 10 points, 4 rebounds on decent shooting. For a guy with a bum shoulder, that's all I need from you. But yeah, let's talk about Julian Strawther a bit. 4 of 8 from the field, 3 of 4 from deep, 4 of 4 from the line, 15 points in 19 minutes. And this was the punch that Denver needed. When things aren't falling and you're really down to the 7-man rotation, then it comes to who else can provide for us, who else could do something on this in this game for us. And that takes a lot for David Edelman to be like, cool, Julian Strawther coming up. Going into game 7, this is going to be huge for this Oklahoma City team, because whilst a lot of people do give the critique of how young this team is, and I understand that this team is a very poised, composed team. They've been to the playoffs before. They've made deep runs before, once last year. But regardless, these are players who you get that first year under you. Okay, I know what the playoffs is like. I know what to expect. It's not going to surprise me anymore. This is a different beast. This is a win or go home elimination game against a former NBA champion and the player who might be the current MVP. I want to get into some criticisms here. Firstly, Jalen Williams. Yes, he showed up in either game 3 or game 4. I get it. Yes, great game for him. He's been dealing with a nagging wrist injury, I think, in his shooting arm. So I can excuse some of his awful performances. He needed to step up in this game. When Shai went to the bench with 4 fouls or 4 or 5 fouls before the second half, in that third quarter, he needed to step up. And Jalen Williams has not stepped up, which is quite ironic because Jalen Williams kind of has. 3 of 16 from the field for JDub, 0 of 4 from deep, 6 points, 7 rebounds, 10 assists. And it's good that he is finding other ways to be impactful when he is not seeing the bottom of the net. And I value that, and I understand that. I think it's great that you are finding ways to be impactful. When your best player is out, and the only person on this team who I can look at and say they can create a shot for themselves is Jalen Williams, when you are not able to do that, then it gets a bit worrying. Now, I'm looking at Jalen Williams and thinking, okay, cool, I know you're dealing with an injury, but we needed you to step up here. We needed you to take over this game in this part because our best player is gone. This is your time. And 3 of 16 is such a brutal stat line because Jalen Williams has not been playing like that great in this series as a whole. Yeah, just reading his last 5 games in this series, right? 6 points, 18, 10, 32, 17. There are 2 games here where he shot under 20%. When you are taking this volume of shots and shooting under 20%, you are starting to become a liability. If you're under the idea of maybe he can just have a good game, maybe he'll show up, you still have to play another round. If you win this next game, you are against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they're a great defensive team too. If you get past this Denver team, you have to deal with a tougher opponent again, and what then? Because on that final stage, JDub cannot have performances like these. You can't have your second best player through the regular season, your second all-star, have performances like this. And I'm someone who, I love Jalen Williams. I think he's a great player. I think he's capable of so much on the court. But so far, it hasn't looked good for him. I will say defensively, he has been great. A lot of big steals, 3 steals in this game. And he's got 3 steals twice in this series so far. When your team needs you to score, you need to step up. Outside of Shai, on this roster, top to bottom, I don't know if there's anyone who can create their own offense. I don't know if there's anyone who can keep a defense honest. Because, yeah, fair, you may have shooters scattered around the court, but you need someone to help those shooters get more open. If there is no credible offensive threat on the floor, and there are just 5 shooters out there, everyone, you're going to stick to your man evenly. Yes, you can create mismatches, you can create, open shots and rotations, but that is taxing. That does take a lot out of you. It is something to say, okay, cool, we gave the best player the ball, I can catch a breather on this offensive possession. And okay, yeah, maybe that's unfair on Shai. Okay, yeah, but that's what you have to deal with. You are the team's best player. This series highlighted how bad this Denver bench is. As I've said in the last video, I think in the last game, they outscored them 20-8. And then in the game before, it was like 38-10. This game, again, Julian Strawther stepped up, so you didn't have that problem. But Denver's biggest issue is their depth. It is their depth. I don't know. When you have a role player step up like this, it's huge. The problem is, how consistently can they step up? Are we going to see Game 7 be another Julian Strawther game? Are we going to see Game 7 where Russ dials the clock back or something crazy like that? MPJ makes 8 of 9 from the field? I don't know. What I do know is they need someone else to step up that isn't Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. Jamal Murray also, like I said before, he stepped up. He's been playing pretty mid this series. Like, he's had a couple good games, but he hasn't shown us Jamal Murray, And in this game, he did. I don't know if it just took him having the flu, but in this game, he did. The home court advantage was also real. That Denver crowd, I was just rewatching it now. That Denver crowd is loud as hell. When Julian Strawther hit those 3-pointers to go on his own run, this crowd was loud as hell. I think if I were Sam Presti, my biggest goal in the offseason isn't to blow up the core to get a star or make some big blockbuster trade. It's to find someone who can be a scorer for themselves and just to have that as a bench piece. I was watching a video from Pee Wee the Plug, and one of the big points in there was that someone like Dennis Schroeder would be great for this team. Dennis Schroeder is a player who can keep offenses or keep defenses honest and contribute in his own way. Like, he can score the ball, he can put the ball down on the floor, he can get you buckets when you need it the most. And it's players like that I think you need, and I don't think they would be that expensive. You could take a flyer on, I don't know if I'm just thinking of the idea of D'Angelo Russell, but a D'Lo would kind of fit the mold. I don't know if he's currently playing that way. I've not seen a Brooklyn Nets game in a very long time. But players of that mold who can give you a spark plug, who can create their own shots, and whose defensive mistakes you can cover up. With this OKC team, one of the best things they have is that bench of like Casey Wallace, Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, Alex Caruso, where you have a lot of disruptors that you can play alongside a weaker defensive guard to cover up for their mistakes. And I know the biggest point of this playoffs is that what teams do is they hunt your biggest weakness, even if it is your strongest player. But when it's a player that doesn't actually play for you in the grand scheme of things that much, go for it. Or by all means, go for it. They didn't get the Philly pick because that would have been crazy. That would have been so good for them because they can just pick up someone and be like, okay, that fills our position of need. We can just grow this player. We have a young core. We can develop him alongside him. That's fine. I as much as I want to see Jalen Williams have a great game, and I hope he does. I hope he steps up. I hope he is efficient from the field. I want to see Shai. I want to see Jokic. I want to see this go late. I want this to be a tense game because the last Game 7 we had, frankly, a blowout. a Game 7 blowout is kind of not fun. Yeah, no one enjoys those. Anyway, I think that's it for me. I think I've gone through all my notes. I hope you have a good day. Take good care of yourself. I'll see you again. I don't even know when the next game is. I think I need to get back on like 2K stuff. So I'll probably see you again in 2K videos soon. Take good care of yourself. I hope you have a great day, evening, night, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Take good care of yourself. Bye-bye now.